Gunners, Arsenal are back in training and there is already plenty to talk about. The team is continuing preparations for the new season, but the latest training session has brought a mixture of good news, concern and plenty of excitement. David Raya and Bukayo Saka have returned to training. Bruno Guimarães has now joined his Arsenal teammates for his first training session, and Jurrien Timber is back on the pitch. However, there is an important warning from Mikel Arteta. Timber is still weeks away from being available, and William Saliba is currently in what Arteta described as rest mode as he continues to recover from his injury. So let's break everything down. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you never miss any Arsenal updates on this channel until the next Arsenal are back in training. After the latest pre-season action, Arsenal have returned to training as the squad continues to prepare for the new campaign. For supporters, these sessions are always interesting because they give us a closer look at the condition of the players. Who is back? Who is still missing? Who is getting closer to returning? And which players are starting to impress the manager? Those are the questions Arsenal fans are asking. And this latest session has provided some important answers. David Raya and Bukayo Saka have returned to Arsenal, training after their respective schedules, giving the squad another boost. Saka's return is particularly exciting for supporters. Whenever Bukayo Saka is back on the training pitch, Arsenal fans immediately feel more confident about the attack. His creativity, movement and ability to create something from nothing make him one of the most important players in the squad. And now, he is back working with his teammates. Bruno Guimarães joins Arsenal training. There is also another huge talking point. Bruno Guimarães has joined his new Arsenal teammates for his first training session. This is another important moment for the Brazilian midfielder. He has completed his move to Arsenal, and now the real work begins. Joining a new club is not only about signing a contract. Bruno has to understand Mikel Arteta's tactical ideas. He has to build relationships with his new teammates. He has to learn how Arsenal want to play. And he has to get himself physically ready for the demands of the season. For Arsenal supporters, seeing Bruno on the training pitch in Arsenal colours is obviously a very exciting sight. The club have made a major investment in him and expectations will be high. But there is no need to rush. The most important thing is that he gets properly integrated into the squad. Declan Rice welcomes Bruno, and Bruno already has a teammate who knows exactly what it feels like to battle against him. Declan Rice has spoken positively about having Bruno at Arsenal. Rice said, "I am delighted to have Bruno Guimarães at Arsenal. We used to be rivals and now we're teammates." That is a brilliant way to describe the change. Not long ago, Rice and Bruno were competing against each other. Now they are wearing the same shirt. And Rice continued with an even stronger message. "He's a warrior, and I'm happy that we won't be fighting each other anymore. Now we go to war together for Arsenal." That is the kind of mentality Arsenal fans want to hear. Two midfielders who previously competed against each other are now expected to work together for the same objective. And imagine what that could mean for Arsenal's midfield. Quality, intensity, physicality, passing, experience, and a strong competitive mentality. Of course, we still need to see how Arteta uses Bruno and how the midfield combinations develop, but the potential is certainly exciting. Jurrien Timber is back on the pitch, but there's a warning. Now we come to one of the biggest concerns. Jurrien Timber has returned to training and is working on the pitch. That is positive news, but Arsenal fans should not expect him back in competitive action immediately. Mikel Arteta has confirmed that Timber is still weeks away from being available. When asked about Timber and Saliba, Arteta explained that he could not give an exact time frame. He said, "Jurrien is progressing really well, he's on the pitch, he's doing quite a lot right now but is still weeks away. I cannot say how much." That is an important update. Timber is making progress. He is training, he is doing more work, but he is not yet ready to return. So Arsenal fans will have to remain patient. The good thing is that he is moving in the right direction. The frustrating part is that nobody knows exactly how many weeks remain. Timber's return needs to be managed carefully. This is where Arsenal have to be smart. There is no point rushing Timber back just because the season is approaching. The priority has to be getting him fully fit and making sure he can stay available. Timber has already had periods where injuries have interrupted his progress, so Arsenal need to manage his return carefully. Supporters obviously want to see him back as soon as possible, but the worst thing would be rushing him into action before he is completely ready and then seeing another setback. That is why Arteta's comments are important. Timber is progressing, he is training, but he still needs time, and Arsenal have to respect that process. William Saliba remains a big concern. Then there is William Saliba. And this is where Arsenal fans have even more reason to be patient. Arteta explained that Saliba is currently in rest mode. He said for 2 weeks he had to do almost nothing. Don't aggravate the injury. It's going to take some time to heal, we know that. Arteta also said that the club will provide more information when they have it. That means Arsenal do not currently have a precise return date for Saliba, and that is obviously frustrating. Saliba is one of the most important defenders in the squad. When he is fit, he gives Arsenal incredible quality at centre-back. His pace helps Arsenal defend higher up the pitch. His strength helps in one-on-one situations. His composure helps when playing out from the back. And his partnership with Gabriel has been one of the foundations of Arsenal's defence, so losing Saliba for an extended period would be a significant challenge. Arsenal need to be careful with the defence. This is why the transfer situation is becoming even more important. Arsenal are already looking at defensive reinforcements, with the club considering options at centre-back and right-back. Recent reporting says Arsenal are stepping up their search for defensive cover while Timber and Saliba remain sidelined. That makes sense. You cannot go through an entire season relying on only a small number of defenders. The Premier League is physically demanding. Then you have European football, domestic cup competitions, suspensions, injuries, and periods when several matches arrive in a short space of time. Squad depth can make the difference between competing for trophies and struggling when key players are unavailable. The fans are already worried about Timber. Some Arsenal supporters have already expressed concerns about Timber's injury record. One fan reaction put it very strongly. "We cannot rely on Timber this season. He is injury prone. We need to get a right back, and a defender else this season will be very long." That is a supporter's opinion, not an official assessment from Arsenal. But it does show the concern among some fans. The important thing is that Arsenal do not need to panic. They simply need to make the right decisions. If the club believes another defender is necessary, strengthening the squad could be sensible. And then there is Christos Tzolis. Now let's talk about one of the more exciting stories from Arsenal's recent pre-season, Christos Tzolis. The Greek winger has been attracting attention since joining Arsenal, and some supporters have been impressed by what they have seen from him. One fan reaction captured the excitement perfectly. "We knew Christos Tzolis was good. We just didn't know he was this good." That is the kind of reaction you want to see when a new signing starts making an impression. Tzolis has shown qualities that can make him an exciting attacking option. He has pace, he can take on defenders, he is willing to attack space, and he has shown an ability to get into dangerous positions. But there is something important here. It is still too early to declare him Arsenal's undisputed first-choice left winger. Some supporters are already asking whether Tzolis could become Arsenal's main option on the left. That is a debate worth having, but the final answer will depend on his performances, Arteta's tactical decisions, and how the rest of the attacking squad develops. For now, Arsenal fans can simply enjoy what they are seeing, and if Tzolis continues improving, he could become a very important player. Tzolis could be a surprise package. This is what makes pre-season so interesting. Sometimes you already know what to expect from established stars, but new signings can surprise you. Tzolis has the opportunity to show that he can compete for a regular role. He does not need to be given the position automatically. He needs to earn it. And that competition can actually be good for Arsenal. If Tzolis performs well, other attackers have to raise their level. If another winger performs well, Tzolis has to respond. That creates competition, and competition can make the entire squad stronger. Bruno brings another level of excitement. While Tzolis is trying to make his mark, Bruno Guimarães is beginning his own Arsenal journey, and there is a different kind of excitement around him. He is not simply a young prospect arriving with potential, he is an experienced midfielder arriving with a reputation for competing at a very high level. Declan Rice's comments about him being a warrior say a lot about what Arsenal players can expect from him. Rice and Bruno were once rivals, now they have the same objective: to help Arsenal. And that could be one of the most exciting parts of the signing. Imagine two midfielders who know how difficult it is to play against each other now working together. Instead of fighting against one another, they are going to war together for Arsenal. That is the mentality Arsenal want. Football is not only about technical ability. Mentality matters. Intensity matters, competition matters, and having players who hate losing can make a huge difference. Bruno has that competitive reputation, Rice has that mentality. Combine that with Arsenal's other midfield options, and Arteta has some interesting decisions to make. Of course, we should not get carried away before seeing how everything works on the pitch, but the possibilities are exciting. The bigger picture for Arteta. When you look at Arsenal's current situation, there are two completely different stories. On one side, there is excitement. Saka is back. Raya is back. Bruno has started training with the team. Tzolis is making an impression. The squad is continuing to prepare for the season. But on the other side, there are defensive concerns. Timber is still weeks away, Saliba is in rest mode, and Arsenal may need additional defensive cover. That is why the next few weeks are going to be extremely important. Arteta has to balance excitement with caution. He has to build the team while protecting injured players. He has to give new signings time to adapt. And he has to make sure the squad is ready when competitive football begins. And you need players you can trust when injuries happen. That is why the reported interest in additional defensive reinforcements is understandable. At the same time, Arsenal should not make a signing simply for the sake of signing someone. The player has to be right. The quality has to be right. The price has to make sense. And the player has to fit Arteta's football. So Gunners, where do we stand? Arsenal are back in training. Saka is back. Raya is back. Bruno Guimarães has started training with his new teammates. Tzolis is giving fans plenty to be excited about. But Timber is still weeks away. Saliba remains in rest mode. And Arsenal's defensive situation deserves serious attention. That is the story right now. There is excitement, there is concern, there is competition, and there is still plenty of work to do before Arsenal are fully ready for the new season. The big Arsenal training update. So here is everything in simple terms. Arsenal are back in training as preparations continue. David Raya and Bukayo Saka have returned to training. Bruno Guimarães has joined Arsenal training and is beginning to settle into the squad. Declan Rice has welcomed Bruno and described him as a warrior. Jurrien Timber is training on the pitch and progressing well. However, Mikel Arteta says Timber is still weeks away from being available. William Saliba is currently in rest mode while his injury heals. Arteta has not provided a precise return date for either defender. Christos Tzolis has impressed supporters during pre-season. Some fans are already debating whether Tzolis could become Arsenal's main left-wing option. Arsenal may need additional defensive cover while Timber and Saliba are unavailable. And now the waiting game begins. When will Timber return? When will Saliba be ready? How quickly can Bruno adapt? Can Tzolis continue his impressive form? And will Arsenal strengthen the defence before the season gets serious? There are still plenty of questions. But one thing is certain, the Arsenal squad is changing. The new players are arriving, the injured players are working their way back, and Mikel Arteta has another big season ahead. Gunners, all we can do now is keep supporting the team, hope Timber and Saliba return safely, and watch how these new signings develop. Bruno Guimarães has arrived. Christos Tzolis is making noise. Saka and Raya are back. Timber is getting closer. Saliba is recovering. Arsenal fans have reasons to be excited, but also to be careful. Nobody wants to start the season worrying about injuries, but pretending the defensive situation does not exist would also be a mistake. Arsenal needs Saliba and Timber back. There is no doubt about that. But they also need to make sure the players return properly. A rushed comeback is not worth it. The season is long, there will be plenty of matches, so Arsenal need their defenders available for the long term, not just for one early season game. That is why patience is important. Fingers crossed for Timber and Saliba. For every Arsenal supporter, the hope is simple. We want to see Jurrien Timber back as soon as possible. We want to see William Saliba back as soon as possible. But more importantly, we want them back fully fit. Arsenal need them, the defence needs them, and the squad will be stronger when they are available again. Until then, other players have an opportunity to step up. That is football. When one player is unavailable, another player gets a chance. The new signings are already creating excitement. Bruno Guimarães is now beginning his Arsenal training journey. Christos Tzolis is showing supporters why there is excitement around him. And the established stars are returning to the group. That is the positive side of this Arsenal update. There is still plenty of work to do, but there are also reasons for optimism. Bruno needs time to settle. Tzolis needs time to develop. The returning players need to regain their rhythm, and Arteta needs to put everything together. The next step for Arsenal. Now the focus turns to the next stage of Arsenal's preparations. The players are back on the training pitch, new faces are settling in, and the coaching staff are trying to get everyone ready for the demands ahead. For Mikel Arteta, this is not just about getting through pre-season. It is about building a squad that can compete consistently. And with Bruno Guimarães now training with the team, Arteta has another major option in midfield. Bruno and Rice, a new midfield partnership? This is one of the biggest things Arsenal fans will be watching. Declan Rice already knows Bruno Guimarães very well from playing against him. Now they have the opportunity to play alongside each other. Rice has already described Bruno as a warrior and made it clear that he is happy they are now teammates. That relationship could become very important. Both players are aggressive, both are comfortable competing in midfield, and both have the quality to influence games. But the big question is how Arteta will use them together. Will they play alongside each other? Will one be given more freedom? Will Bruno play deeper? Or could Arteta use different combinations depending on the opponent? We will have to wait and see. Tzolis has something to prove. Then there is Christos Tzolis. The excitement around the winger is growing. Some supporters are already asking whether he can become Arsenal's main option on the left. That is a big statement, but it also shows how quickly a player can change the conversation with strong performances. Tzolis still has to prove himself over a longer period. Pre-season performances are encouraging, but the competitive season is a completely different challenge. Defenders will be more aggressive, the pressure will be higher, and every mistake will matter more. So the challenge for Tzolis is simple. Keep improving, keep working, keep competing, and give Arteta a reason to trust him. Defense remains the big question. While the attack and midfield are giving supporters reasons to smile, the defensive situation remains a concern. Timber is progressing, but Arteta says he is still weeks away. Saliba is currently resting. That means Arsenal need to be careful. The season can become extremely demanding very quickly. One injury can turn into two. Two can become three. And suddenly, a team that looked strong on paper can find itself short of options. That is why defensive depth could become one of Arsenal's biggest priorities. The club needs to make sure there are enough reliable players available throughout the campaign. Patience with Timber and Saliba. Nobody wants to see Timber or Saliba rushed back. Arsenal supporters want them fit for the long term. Timber is already back on the pitch, which is a positive sign. Saliba is being given time to recover properly. So for now, patience is the best approach. When they return, Arsenal will be stronger. Until then, other players have to step up. And that's the latest from Arsenal training, Gunners. Now I want to hear from you. What do you think about Bruno's arrival? Can Tzolis become a key player for Arsenal? And do you think Arsenal need to sign another defender before the season begins? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe to Arsenal Updates and turn on the notification bell so you never miss the latest Arsenal news, transfers, training updates and injury news. Thanks for watching, Gunners. Stay tuned to Arsenal Updates for more. And as always, come on you Gunners, this is Arsenal Updates. See you in the next one.